You're wondering what I'm saying. Hi, everyone. Excited to be here today. This should be a fun one. I just got my dinner done, and it's a rainy day here in Texas. So I'm excited to just kind of vibe with you guys and write some code and use some AI, and we're going to see what happens today. So if you're here to say hi, we're going to get started here real quick. But I want to give people a chance to come in. How are your guys' days doing? Default, how are you, man? All right. What did I have? I had some delicious steak. Super good. A little homemade meal. Sweet, love to hear it. All right, so I think people are going to come, people are not going to come. We'll see. But I want to show off something that I have been putting on the back burner for quite some time now. Let's just show you. Here I am. So this is like an old tweet. Let's go back. This is an old tweet from 2021. So that's a couple years old now. But check this out. Like, I've made this. This is a project that exists out in the world. And as you select different entries, I was able to change the wallpaper and then have the color scheme of the editor match the wallpaper. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of magical. It's really fun to use. I'm not using it so much right now, and I haven't developed on it for quite some time. And so I thought that I would revive the project by doing it in Bash. Everybody loves Bash. It's also, I think, going to be a lot more lightweight using Bash. And so the main thing here, I'll show you guys kind of what I have in mind. But basically, I want to revive this project and then kind of use AI to fill in the gaps. So when I have a new photo, we're probably going to use like macOS wallpapers or something for now as like an example. I want to see if AI is able to, like, if I give it like 3 colors, can it give me like 8 colors that all look nice and work together? And so that means that I could just add to more of these, and I can make this a bit more of a polished thing that people can download and use. It was really buggy and like not super great and only worked with Alacritty. And so the ideas that I have today are like, we could probably apply this concept to multiple terminal emulators, because I've been using quite a few now over the years, and they all have mostly straightforward ways of setting colors. I think the more complicated piece of this will be like NeoVim color schemes, which I have a few ideas there as well. But I basically will need to set up some input, define some colors, and then use some sort of data transfer like mechanism to convert it to like each terminal emulator. So today we're going to play around with colors mostly. I think the color part will be interesting to see. Like if I give it a red, can it spit out a blue that like complements the red, right? Like that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of see how far we can push it in that area. And if AI can't do all that I hope it can do, I hope that at the very least, this is my way of sort of reviving this project and seeing how far I can take it. So this will be fun. I'm excited. I have only done a bit of research and experimentation, so more of that will be happening today for sure, because I'm like, what is possible here? Like, I'm not sure. All right, let's close this. So yeah, that was fun. You can take a closer look at this for those that want to see it. And we're just gonna start coding. Some people reposted, that was cool. And so for now, like I wanted to like programmatically pull colors from images, and I haven't found a great way to do that yet. So for now, I kind of have this cool thing where you can drop in an image and you can kind of pick the colors you want. And then it has, this has the ability to like export it. So I'll probably export it in like a CSV or an array, depending on what tool we end up using to interpret these colors. So what I think would be fun, so we start with the base. So if we go to like wallpapers, I can't remember exactly where these live. Maybe you know, maybe I don't. Okay, let's see. So like this one, I guess we'll just, maybe I'll get rid of Stage Manager for now. Get rid of that. So for now, we can just grab it. Oh. And the first idea I have is that we just sort of kind of plop this in. Oh, browse. And if you know any better tools, that would be cool. Like, to definitely let me know for those that are watching. All right, so we're gonna just kind of go, okay, I want the purple, and I want the orange, and I want the yellow, and I need a blue, but maybe we'll go a little bit more bright, like that. So I have these colors, and I have lots of cool color tools out there that will give me color palettes. But my thought for now is that if I give it these hex codes, we'll just put that in my clipboard. I just kind of want to start talking to this. You are a designer. I want you to generate an 8-bit color scheme from hex codes I provide you. So I've been told that it's really helpful to tell the system, this AI system, like, this is ChatGPT, by the way, like, who are you? Like, this is your role in doing this. Default, you say Python. Yeah, Python might be good. All right. And I think I've seen a few libraries that do this in JavaScript as well. But I don't know how many languages I want to have to use in order to achieve this. But Python's a decent start. And so I can give it 8 colors, and it will give me these colors. Oh, and that's cool. It actually loads the colors. All right, and so from the colors I give you, I always want to set all of the following values. And we're basically just going to say, like, this is from, we'll zoom this in a little. We'll just start into dot files for today. I want like Alacrity YAML. So I have this OpenAI sample, and it lives in config, Alacrity, OpenAI sample. So we got these colors. You can see I've already played around with it. Black, white, red, yellow, green, magenta, cayenne. So like this. And I guess I don't want to give it any colors because I've already seen that it kind of hallucinates and is like, I'm just going to give you some color based off of the sample. And I'm like, well, that's not really what I want. I want should always be hex. and I want complementary colors that match the name on the YAML data. And there you go. It already is like, hey, based off of the colors that I gave you, these might be good. Are they good? Not really. So cyan, do a better job matching the colors I gave, matching the colors. Appropriate names, and fill in the rest with similar, with colors that match within the color wheel. Now it's just a matter of how I want to talk to it. Oh, ImageMagick. Yeah. ImageMagick might work. I've never seen how that works. So we'd have to play around with what image do better AI. Yes. So this is the idea. I kind of have to explore. There is this pseudo-lang that's like this pseudo language that you can give to these AI tools. And I'm going to do my best to try that after this. But we're going to kind of start with the basics. So I'm going to just give it these colors again. And because right now it's going to be a lot of copying and pasting, but thankfully I'm able to, I can do a lot more with this later. And so these are a decent start. So that 40 is CD is blue, the 2E1C4, is that one even here? Oh, they decided not to provide that one. And then the E8 is yellow, and the EA is red, and the D2 is magenta. And are those kind of what we started with? Yeah. Okay. So then my question is, from the colors that I provided, the cyan, you missed the cyan. So let's see if it can understand. You missed the cyan. Please always keep the original colors I give you. Apologies. Right. So in that case, I had to explicitly say, hey, that was the one you missed and you need to make it. I don't want to have to categorize the colors. I want to just give it colors and it figure it out. What I want even more is to give it any color and it fill in all the others. So I can give it 1 or 2 colors. I don't have to give it 3 or 4. And what did we give it here? We gave it 5. Like, I don't need to always give it 5. Maybe I just give it 1. And so that would be an interesting thing to explore. But that's the colors. So now we'll just kind of see. That's bright. That's dim. All right. So from these colors, if we launch Alacrity, we've got a background set. I can just get rid of that. Maybe we put all this in a second window for now. Desktop. All right. So like, how are we feeling with these colors? And I've got good old NeoFetch to give me a little bit of a stronger idea. So these are the colors that we pulled and it matches the background. Cool. Like, that's pretty straightforward. And I think if I give it the right instructions and give it the right format to output, we can start to sort of automate this very quickly and give it different colors and start to see like a better feedback. So this is the starting point. So what we saw here is out of the one, let's see, let's look at the colors. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had these 5. And so it came up with yellow because that was really all that was left, huh? And then the black and white were black and white. So that's something worth exploring. And this one is fairly saturated and fairly obvious. I have quite a lot of, let's get this here. I have quite a lot of wallpapers. And some of them are quite different and unique. Like this one's kind of cool, right? We could just spend our whole time like looking at these. And these ones from Microsoft are super unique. Like they're maybe AI generated or something. And so if we start using like this one's really pretty, right? So if we use something like this, these colors are going to be very different. And so that might actually be worth, for now, we can just put this on the front and put this here. And so now when we start using really crazy and weird colors, you know, it's not always going to line up with red, blue, green, cyan, right? Like they're not going to be obvious, I guess is my point. So let's set desktop picture. And so when this kind of thing happens, right? And if we go back to this tool and I guess we'll just kind of bring this guy in. We get this kind of color palette, right? And they're a lot more muted and they're a lot more or less, I guess they're more similar generally. And then like we're missing a certain color completely. So maybe we'll just remove that. We want what? Dark blue and light blue. Okay, so these colors are totally different, I would say. So now if I give it these colors, do the same with these colors, get more creative with filling in the gaps. So now I'm just telling it to be more creative. Make black and white off, like offset by a little, but still very close. There you go. All right. So now let's see if this one plays nice. So here's our colors. And check it out. That's pretty cool. And so they're not all going to be perfect, but I think that we're on the right path. And yes, NeoVim hasn't changed yet. I know we'll have to come up with how to convert these colors that were chosen to, I'm using Capuchin. So my idea is just create a custom Capuchin theme, which they support. But how about that? Yeah, it is pretty good, right? Like here's, this is something that uses a lot of colors. So the off-white is kind of cool, and the blue is definitely fitting the vibe, and the green, and the red is kind of this pinkish, orangish green that came from the colors that we asked for. And so like, I ain't mad at this at all. It looks like some more people joined. Hello, feel free to say hi in chat. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like this. Now it's only, what time is it here? We've been going for not even 20 minutes. So we're going to start cooking with gas here really soon. You guys will see, because I've talked about it on previous streams, but I've used an OpenAI Bash implementation. And I'm thinking that we're going to convert all this to a JSON object. And then we can use the JQ library to convert something from, like, we're going to convert this whole file. Like, I want all of these files potentially to be converted and used. And then we could probably convert them into, like, I have Alacrity, I have Kitty. There's lots of Kitty users. So maybe we'll start exploring other people. But I think if I could do this with Alacrity and NeoVim colors, that would be super dope. There's also a tool I use called BAT. So this is my way of seeing, are all of these going to be unhelpful? All right, let's go to a file, like a Lua file. And so this tool, oh, look at that. This tool is it's not using all the colors. Okay, so these colors don't match, right? And so the idea is, like, there are multiple places in the system where I'd want to be able to apply the color. And I also think it would be really cool we may end up just using AI only to generate the colors themselves, and then using Bash to convert the colors to a format. Now, I don't know how to do all these formats, so I'll probably also use AI to do that. We will see. But that's the idea. So I think it's pretty cool that it can just spit out a set of colors based off of the wallpaper, right? Because I slowed down a lot when I was using the original idea I showed earlier, because I had to, like, hand pick colors and fit every color in with the appropriate value. And it was a headache. I didn't enjoy that process. It took multiple, it took like 10 or 15 minutes to, like, get the image, get the colors, use the color wheel to, like, calculate the best colors to fit. And so originally, when I started this project, ChatGPT wasn't announced, and OpenAI hadn't gotten its million users or billion users or whatever. I think it was 100 million users, right, in like a day or like 3 days or something. And I was not one of those people, but I definitely got on board soon after. And since then, I've realized that something like figuring out cool colors to match other colors is something AI can do, which I don't remember who originally showed me that. But I saw it somewhere. This isn't my idea. Like, someone else showed me that ChatGPT is good with colors. And so the idea is like, oh, let's just like run with that. And so the other piece of this that I got to figure out is, can I get it to like not fit colors at all and like just give me all blue and purple colors that are slightly different, and give me some of the more obscure and sort of wild looking color schemes that I've seen out there. And so we'll see how far I can get with that. And then, maybe we just start by converting all this to a script and repeating the sort of actions here so that I can sort of replace and do whatever I want with all of this. In fact, maybe we start by reviving my project. So for those who want to know where the source code live right now, this is me, repos. I called it awe, and it was Alacrity plus wallpaper. So it's a simple idea. It was an easy CLI because AW is easy to type. And so let's just let's do something reasonable. There we go. Repos. So we just want to clone my project. And I can't remember package manager. It was Yarn. I kind of don't want to use Yarn. So let's just give this a new AI generated All right, so we'll remove yarn, we'll pnpm install. Oh, let's not do that. All right, so let's. What do we want to do? We want to use 18. All right, so now we got 18. PNPM, yeah. And then do I have an in VMware? Interesting. All right. So I want get this moving. All right. So basically I was using, let's talk about this. Let's package. I was using a tool called Oakcliff. And Oakcliff was like a TypeScript safe CLI generation tool for TypeScript. And so you would just call this binary. So you just run it. But I don't know if PNPM is going to work. All right, so let's just start with the simple one then. We're just going to do install. And we'll just get rid of that. It's been so long since I've even touched this project, so this is a good refresher. And I see I have all these things I wish I could have done with it. Right. So this was something that I put in bin aw. What is this? Config aw bin run. Oh, I see. So that is what I did. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and set that up. So basically, this guy needs to be in my .config. So there it is. Come on. I could have just done a move command, couldn't I? All right. Boom. So now we'll check, and I can see brew install wallpaper needs to be added. Wallpaper is just a CLI that lets me set wallpapers. So we're good there. And then we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this and that, and we're gonna go cd config aw, and now I should be able to config aw. There's my project. We can do a hello. We can do a list. And AW themes doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. It is right there. And it has all this stuff in it. AW list. So this is a brand new computer, so I don't even have the history that I used to have. But what I can do is start to play around with this. All right, so we got like this color. Let's try another one just for fun. So we've got like Across the Spider-Verse. So the way that this works, so this can go here. And in my themes, I have colors. And these are just YAML files. And then I have images. And sometimes the images go with the YAML files and sometimes they don't. So I can set colors without the image if I want to. And this is all based off of that tweet that I showed off earlier. So here we've got like Into the Spider-Verse. And so what we want to do is we want to add the new one. Let's just sort by date created. Let's see, how do I set it? .jpeg? Yeah. All right, so now let's give this a go. From this generation, I want to give it the format of JSON, and I want to convert the JSON to YAML. Maybe we'll just try just setting the original colors. So let's try that. I don't know why this doesn't work though. I know that I can list just themes. Yeah. Right. So we have our set command, and our set command lets me set the theme or wallpaper. So I can't read the file anymore. All right, so then I think I'll pivot. I think we'll use the bash script like I had originally discussed. So that's just going to go to this place, and we're just going to touch something called color. I think I'll just call it C for color. And then we'll do this, we'll make it executable. This is kind of cool though. If I hit X, you'll see something kind of crazy happened. I ask for chmod plus X, and then I ls the directory, and then I do a gum filter limiting to 1. And whenever I choose a file, so I hit that, and it lets me pick which of these do I want to make executable, and I want to make CO executable. If I hit enter, now the CO is executable. So kind of cool. I made that recently in that it's like instant. I just like hit X, I hit the file, I hit enter, and I'm like within seconds I've done something that usually takes a little bit longer. Okay, so we can just take a look at this one. We'll probably just use bash. So let's just define this to do. Ask OpenAI to get me colors from the argument. All right. Check if colors doesn't exist and throw a message. Exit code. If colors doesn't exist, you must enter colors in the hex format. All right. So we can ask for the colors. We can make it format it in the colors that or make it format in YAML and then apply it to a file. And so previously what I did, I don't know if I added readmes to this. Yeah, so I never gave super clear instructions on how to use this to my own demise. And so what I've done in the past, if I remember correctly, I'll just close this, is we want to go to dot files and we'll go to, let's see, where do we want to go to? We want to go to here. I can put whatever I want here. So I can put this like Alacrity / colors / currents.yaml. And so it'll be one of those things that, like, once we generate it, all we have to do is set it to this file. And I believe Alacrity, in the past, I was able to get Alacrity to like auto detect it and like change its colors based off of this file changing. So we can already see the colors change when I save, because this doesn't exist, right? And so this is Alacrity colors current.yaml colors current. And so what do we want to do? We want to see, I guess we'll start with the example that we had. Alacrity, I kind of want to start with like capuchin colors. And then the default colors. So there's kind of a lot going on here. I don't know exactly what the indexed colors do, but Capuchin has designed all of these and labeled them and named them. And so maybe all these things. OGH, no, it was GHPRB. So this is how I do it now. We have context. We then want to generate output. And I do quite a bit of GUM stuff here. This is like a CLI tool that lets you like make things visually pleasing and nice to work with and see. And we take the content, this is the content, we provide it context, and whatever the argument is, in this case, the PR number grabs the PR content, and the PR content goes into the input, and then we call the OpenAI CLI. So this is super hard coded. This is like baked into my machine right now. I'm sure we can find a way to abstract this part of it later. And then once you confirm it, part of me is thinking I could render these colors out somehow on the screen. And if I like them, then I could take action on them. So really, this is kind of the first part. So we have our context. And we're just going to kind of copy what we were playing with here. And we'll just see how far we want to go with it. And then match the hex colors with the appropriate names. And then, yeah. So we'll do some more of this. Let's kind of make this nice and pretty. So we're going to say matching the hex colors. The hex colors with the appropriate names given, and fill in the rest with colors that match within the color wheel. All right, pretty good. And then you miss cyan. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that for now. Always include all of the colors I provide, even if they are slightly off from the specified colors. And then I want to use off-white and off-black to make the color palette more appealing. Sure, something like this. Not perfect. Off palette isn't a word, slightly isn't a word. I have heard that you do want to spell these things as best you can. Is it palette? Slightly. All right, off white, off black. And then the real fun part of this, I don't know how well it's going to do, but I kind of want to say like make a white, like a light mode version of the same colors. And then I can have light mode and dark mode at the same time, like just by adding a little bit more logic in the AI interpreter. So we will see. Maybe we go for pseudoling now. So let's talk about pseudoling for a second, because this is what is going to give us what we need. So it's basically a pseudo language designed to interact with LLMs. So it creates a user-friendly interface for us where we get to use natural language and a little bit of programming-esque syntax, and it can construct simple programming things. And in this case, very much so, is it a very obvious choice for me. We can write commands, we can write functions. These pipe operators let us chain things. What I care about is an interface. And so requirements enforce these rules for interfaces and program behavior. They're great for input validation and rule enforcement. So I'm basically going to say that we have color palette. I need to do that again. All right, so let's got black. Yeah, so no, this is crazy default. So the way pseudolang works, I've been watching an interview on the devtools.fm podcast on this, the creator of this. You basically write pseudocode in your prompt, and it is able to apparently, like when you use like curly braces and things like to this nature in your prompt, you can then tell these LLMs what to do. So this isn't ChatGPT specific. This is kind of a general thing. Like you can just give it. you can say, hey, I want to repeat this. Yeah, you just sort of repeat this. I want to say, background, let's do black, white, red, green, yellow, blue, magenta, cyan. All right, let's do red, cyan, magenta, green. All right, so these are my colors. Require black. Actually, we need like background, foreground. I can't spell. Okay. I'm not going to set any requirements for now, and I don't know. You can set constraints. So constraints are a powerful feature that allow developers to guide the output and behavior. So I can't decide if interface or constraint makes more sense. Probably constraint. So apparently pseudolang is all a constraint-based conceptually. You use constraint-based logic to drive features. Constraints can describe a condition that must always be satisfied, and the AI inferred constraint solver continuously ensures that the condition is met through the program execution. So this is probably what we need, what we want. So maybe we just say color palette, and then, oh, and default. The cool thing about this, man, is you don't have to install an extension. There's no plugins. There's no like this is just the way LLMs work, apparently. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out exactly how far this gets us today. So we have some constraints, and we can say like background should always be an off black. Foreground should always be an off white. And we can say black should always have enough contrast to be visible on the background. And we're gonna find out exactly how good it is at this. But this is the idea, is that you use this natural language to set your constraints, and it will do a better job at prompting this. Every property should be a hex code. Color value. A color value in the hex code format, including the hash. All right. And here's where it gets kind of crazy. So once you do that, you have to tell the tool to run. And so like you set the constraints. What's it good? You set the constraints. And then I have to figure out exactly how we run the constraint once it's been defined. So you give it a definition, and then you call it. So this is the name of it. Oh, interesting. They put it in Markdown. And then you give it output, and you give it example, and it just sort of knows what to do. So let's just follow this. Part of me wants to write this in Markdown, which I probably could do. So we could say co.sudo, and that doesn't really mean anything. Color formatter, color palette creator. So color. So we got this. Becomes this, which I'm probably gonna go ahead and give this Markdown so we get some colors. Let's go. All right. And I guess I'm gonna make this big, kind of big. We'll set our constraints. Transpiling this program to JavaScript running in your browser. All right. So we take the program by its name, and then we transpile it to this language. So now we can just sort of arguments. Now we got to figure out, how do I give it arguments? Prompt crafter. Criteria, there we go. So we're going to improve our criteria with the target, the critique. We apply the critique on the target. So see how this is like written. Oh, is there more to this? Close-up portrait, portrait. Oh, interesting. So you can like just give it all of these pieces. All right. Criteria, light source. I feel like there should be more to this file. Robot, dispatch, emotions. Yeah, it feels like these lines aren't being rendered. Oh, there we go. Weird. Why did it do that? Okay, now we go. Now we can cook with gas. All right, so the criteria, we can say improve criteria. When we look at the actual function, we can look at like light source. They talk about lighting. Constraints. Avoid any mention of these constraints. Avoid mentioning hands or fingers. Describe the image captured without mentioning the camera. Yeah, okay. And then craft. Yeah, so this gets pretty crazy. And see here, now in the language model, you can do /c or /p pick, and then boom, property. And so property gets taken in as criteria. List 10 creative suggestions to select from. I kind of want to just run this. So check this out. We can copy this in, create a prompt. And it goes, okay, great. Oh yeah, look at that. And so then it outputs state. Close-up portrait female, 30, Caucasian, Emma. Influences, cameras. And then if I do /k swimmer, here are 10 creative suggestions for swimmer scene. How cool is that? So like you have this thing exist and it just starts working. So I'll be able to give the prompt. I don't need multiple commands. I just need one. So I need one command. I really want to know. Isn't this wild? This is why I wanted to stream. I saw this and I was like, oh man, we got to try this. It just knows what to do. And like in this case, the Markdown format was used and it was numbered. So see that it decided to output it in a numbered format, and this is Markdown. So if I copy this and we look at the output, it's just a Markdown format. And that was implied based off of what it saw in the example. So we do need, I guess, Fibonacci. I'm going to kind of have to combine these ideas. I want to copy this, do another one like this. So this one gave me output like that. That one wasn't really command based. So maybe I'll just start with the basics. Format YAML. So we're just going to study this for a little while. And I think once I study it, the guy that invented this, or that who invented this, he claims that you can do this for all of your work, all of the time, and potentially gain 10x, 20x productivity. So this is very much a transferable skill. And I think it would be really exciting to get good at this. If you can say, these are my constraints of my application. Now go write me JavaScript, go write me Node, go write me React code, go write me Python. So the idea is you can use this as the way of which you define your constraints for the application, and then you apply it to the language model, and it creates code for you. And he recommended potentially that you create unit tests, which you can have this system write unit tests. And so that you know that your unit tests, if they pass according to all your rules and exceptions and outliers and things like that, then you know the code is good if the unit tests pass. So pretty freaking cool, if I can say so. But let's try the AI friend. So AI friend, expert chatbot character designer. Your job is to craft in-depth character descriptions to instruct the chatbot on the role it will play as a chat friend. Okay. So then when I do that, I can say craft. And just like that, instruct the AI to interact as follow, generate natural chat. Oh, I see. These things are kind of vague, aren't they? All right. Oh, so I can say role play as a shy gnome in the garden. And boom, look, it's going to be okay. Their name is Willow. That's a good start. A petite gnome with rosy cheeks and bright green eyes. She wears a moss green. Yeah, so check this out. She's 87. They live much longer than humans. So there's a lot of personality here. Favorite music, soft lullabies sung by the birds. So it's being very, that's hilarious. So it's being very creative. And so as a shy gnome, my responses will reflect a reserved and cautious nature. I will take a moment to gather my thoughts before responding. Right. Hi, how are you tonight? Are you doing okay in the rain? I mentioned it was raining here, so check this out. I appreciate your concern. While rain can sometimes make me a tad nervous, I find solace in the gentle patter. Okay, how cute is this? Okay, so this is the power of this tool. Just as reference, the idea that all of this happened so quickly and so well was only done with 100. How many lines is this? 55 lines? This is literally 55 lines of code. So the idea that the state is that there's name and appearance and hometown, all of this stuff, the constraints are you are instructing a chatbot on its persona. It will be a chat friend. So this is your general natural language constraint definition, and then you instruct the AI, and then you give it commands. And so we're going to apply this to being I like to think of this a lot as like, what is it? When I like write tickets, I do this kind of work. I set these sort of constraints on the project before I begin it, so that I know where I'm going and I have some direction. So this probably will spill into maybe every area of my life, just to be honest. I'm being a little bit exaggerating here, but like this is very cool. So yeah, it's called Pseudolang, and the guy wrote a paper on it, and I might as well just give it to chat. Here, chat. Do I want to make an AI friend now? And do I want to just like drop everything we were doing color palette related? Yes, but we're not going to do that. We're going to stick to what we were doing. I do need to give it an example of the output so that we get the output we want. But if you couldn't tell, we've been going at this about an hour. When I did this original conversation, it was okay. It was okay. It was not great. It was just kind of good enough to give me sort of useful output. But you can see now that I can move this sort of conversational thing, this sort of stream of consciousness here. I can translate it to Pseudolang. And so when I transfer to Pseudolang, then I'm going to be able to set constraints in a structured way. And when I call certain commands, I can get really specific output. And so I think there's even going to be opportunities here to like do this, where I said like, hey, I want the color for cyan to be more vibrant or something. And I may be able to generally let it rerun itself, because according to the creator of Pseudolang, this idea of sort of state management is built into this syntax, right? Like we talked about, I set the conversation up here to the character and I said I wanted a gnome. And when I created the gnome, it saved this value. State got saved like this. Favorites got saved like this. And when that happened, now as I continue to talk, it remembers that state. But it doesn't just remember it like conversationally, it remembers it sort of like programmatically is the best way to describe it. So there's a bit of LLM being better at it by setting these visual like syntactic cues to the language. And it's just as simple as the name of a thing and then curly braces and then this key value type style pairing. And so it's fairly obvious. Even non-programmers can see this and sort of get a sense of what it is and how it works. And look, it even used emojis for self-expression. That's really cute. So I digress a little, but let's create our own constraint for color palettes. And what I'm hoping is that I can apply this to YAML, and it'll be specific YAML for Alacrity, and then I can set it to Lua for WesTerm, and I can set it to Hyper for in JavaScript for or JSON for the Hyper terminal, and maybe iTerm I don't know if iTerm allows formats, but like I bet we could repeat the process by just adding one new line of code that says, now do it for this program. So let's do it. We need to start writing reasonable code. All right. So color palette. Did I spell palette right? Palette generator. Generate color palettes for terminal emulators. Your job is to generate smart color palettes that are cohesive that are cohesive and pleasant looking. Your job is to craft, yes, you will output into different formats with to fit different formats to work with different terminal emulators. All right, so that's kind of step one. So for now, we can have the state be formatted as that. Ooh, I don't want formatting. I always forget key maps. Do you guys hear barking? Someone just knocked at the door and our dog's freaked out. All right, so these are the same constraints that we were writing in here. So these are this is the state. I guess these are all capitalized. All right. You are instructing a chatbot. Okay, it responds, should be an actual, okay. You will generate a color palette using hex. Actually, I don't want to even tell it hex. I want to just like maybe define that later and be like, hey, for Alacritty, you need hex codes. For this terminal emulator, you can use RGBA, or you could use RGB, or you could use HSL. Like maybe we don't even have to say it. That's the idea, I think. Colors should match. I'm gonna make sure whoever's at the door, that's not something I need to be worried about. All right, colors should all fit within, should all feel cohesive and be visible. Should be visible when put on top of a dark colored background. Avoid the harshest. Oh, sweet. I got a broom, everybody. A broom just showed up. Man, that's late for a delivery guy. Cohesive. All right. Avoid the... I don't want to even make any typical. So generate colors, base colors, generate a color scheme. Based off the base colors. So Pick, nope. List, nope. Revise, no. Oh, I guess revise is useful. And I don't like that the auto formatter is pleasant. Function list select state format YAML. All right. Telescope maps, key maps, format on save. All right. Very freaking cool. Let's go. Default's still with me. It looks like some people are coming and going. That's all right. Now we just run this. I'm really kind of curious to see what happens. So now this needs to be this. And then was randomize. Yeah, randomize is here. So here I can just call, yeah. So they're saying just call randomize at the end just because, as like an example. So now that's it. You just give it the code. And look, it gives me the code back. Are these colors any good? So this was Markdown. This is not what I want. List, select state, Markdown format. But that is the color. Oh, this is cool. Base colors. I want. Let's make sure we get the constraints right. So when we do short description, property, short description. What's so weird about this is like, this is called base colors. I want the short description to have meaning on the constraints. It just knows. It's just an LLM that like just knows that it's supposed to do that. Oh, sweet. Default, you did it. What did you decide to do? Like, what did you tell it to do? Tell us more. That's cool. Yeah, I think that it just kind of knows. So now, if I wanted to like output code, this one in particular is the pseudolang code. I don't understand this as much. So did we end up, let's go with the new context. This is Fibonacci. That's the output. And so they're saying if I write this, it will output very concise. Look at that. So then you can say, give me something very concise. And then you can repeat it and you can say, give me Python very concise. And holy moly, it just says, here you go. Here's 3 lines of code that gives you everything you want. And you can give it bash. And it writes it in bash. Holy moly, this is cool. All right, so then this is a program now. I'm trying to like combine these ideas, which is what I'm not so sure of yet. So the transpiling is from the Fibonacci program, and Fibonacci is defined here. All right, did I actually define it up here with the... No, I see, I just gave it literally Fibonacci. So then I guess I just want to give it an Alacrity color scheme and then give it the colors and then tell it I don't want to randomize. I want to say example. Can I give it like the structure of something and then tell it to improve on that structure? Subsequent drive, okay, functions, works, interfaces. Yeah, I get all this. So how do you tell it, I want you to output my code in this way, please? To do. Yeah, so that's the hardest part about all this, isn't it? Vector searching, that's cool that you can do that. All right, so let's just, I guess, just give it something. So this is the base generation. Generate a color scheme. Are they going to talk about? Adding semantics, set operations. Hallucinations, yes, that usually happens. Okay, so now the question is going to be like, generate color schemes based off the base colors. Oh, color scheme in the alacrity.yaml format. And then maybe I can add it as a constraint or put it down here, perhaps? That's the question. So the Alacrity team has pretty good docs. Color wiki, color schemes. So let's just give it a basic base 16 default. So we're going to go Alacrity format. Well, that is a good question. I have not switched, but I am most familiar. Okay, so let's talk about this. I love WesTerm. I've been using WesTerm. I'm excited to do more with WesTerm. But this idea of color generation, from what I can tell, the colors are like predefined in the Git repository. So there's no real obvious way for me to just like translate colors over automatically using a programming language like this. So it's currently like a limitation thing. So the limitation is that I need to be able to use this. Now this one gets even more interesting because look, they put it in this format. And we want I literally just want to see what happens if I give it to this. All right, so now, no, we want to do this. Sure. Here are some colors. Look at this. It already knows what Alacrity is. It's ChatGPT. ChatGPT is aware of this already. So now I want to know generate no, Alacrity. Did we even call it? We haven't called it yet. All right, so we're going to say Alacrity, and then we're going to give it the colors that we were using earlier as like an example. So here are the colors. Yeah, look at that. It's hallucinating already. These are all zeros. Oh, the ensuring of the colors. Color should feel cohesive. Color should be visible when on. Should be slightly lightened on lighter color contrast. So that was to the extreme. Me saying it needed to be able to be visible on that. Why are all the colors are text should be on the lighter side? Something like that. So now this is like, how do we get it to, and maybe I just dropped this constraint. Let's just start there. And then if I give it alacrity, all right, so let's just see what happens. Is this current? And then did I set this up to current? Yes, I did. Are these the colors? Are these the colors? Did it actually do that? Let's give it something crazy. Like, give me alacrity, brownish color, brownish. What is it going to do when I ask for brownish? A brownish tone. No frickin' way. Give it 50 Shades of Grey. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, so these colors aren't any different. Oh, this is the wrong file. Let's I kind of want to just say in the constraint, always use the format. And so we can say alacrity, all reds. What happens? Oh, this is now a generation tool. Oh no, does it think? It literally just... that didn't work. I guess we'll go back to this. All right, we're gonna do it. I mean, it's just we're asking for gray. That's all. Look, it's literally gray. Let's go. Oh man. All right. So I'm having issues with this not playing nice. Colors, current. Oh, I can't put it here. This is my bad. All right. We're just going to call this current, and we're going to put this in the config alacrity. We're going to call this current. I actually kind of like the word theme. Maybe I just want to do theme. And so we will call this theme.yaml. And look! Well, we're at an 8-bit color. So no, this is 16 colors, okay? You got to give it a chance here. This is 16 colors. That's really funny, though. Yeah, so this was the thing I was talking about. Like, the contrast sucks. So if I was to do 50 shades of gray, I would want it. And this is crazy to me, guys. The fact, like, pseudolang is great. Like, this is amazing. We didn't write very much code at all. This is very little code. Like, I don't know if you guys understand how little code this is. This is less than 70 lines. And I don't even know if this Alacrity thing mattered. To be honest, I don't know if we needed this. And you can use character, and the description can be basically anything we want, and it will still generate these colors based off of the format that I asked for. All right, so let's figure out. This is so cool. This is so clever. I'm excited. Okay, so let's see. We're 90 minutes into stream today. So I guess we want to context now becomes pseudo-lang instructions. I don't know, something like that. And we're just going to echo co.md. Dude, yeah, ask for a light and dark mode, totally. Alacrity? Well, let me get it plugged in first, because as soon as I can stitch this together with the CLI, we're gonna have a really good time with this. Like, I'm gonna really mess with this and see how far this can go. All right, so we've got that. Come on. I don't know why this isn't auto-completing. All right. CO. You must enter colors in the hex format. Yeah. So now I don't even care about this. CO. Echo. Okay. Echo contents of file bash. Oh, sure. Okay, so that's step one. And then we will just do Alacrity theme. And we're not going to do any of this. Generating Alacrity color scheme. I think I'm finally figuring out how to spell palette after all this. Spinner. We don't want it to be aligned anywhere, or margin, or width. I don't care. All right. All right, so there's our theme. I think you can just do that, yeah. All right. And then echo Alacrity theme. So we start here. And then the COMD. So this thing We're just going to always generate. There's no conversation here because I'm wanting it to be a script. If I don't like it, I'll just give it more data. So then this becomes generate. And so what we're going to end up doing is we're going to generate it with colors. So it's going to use the context and then it's going to add colors. So this guy here, maybe we want like that. Generating colors, and then we'll just echo it, right? So my spinner's not working. Command. How did I do this before? Echo. So the command, there's no pipe here. All right. We just need a / to echo that. Yeah. All right. Oh man, context. What? Do you think, chat, do you think it'd be helpful if I actually gave it what I wanted to give it? Plus plus, this plus plus is not right. How did I do this before? Cool thing. Oh, interesting. Generate cool thing. All right. So this isn't colors anymore. This is just whatever we wanted to call it. What did we call it? We called it generate. What did they call it? It's just some like vague thing. Like brief description. Colors. I'm just gonna call it colors. Why not? Generate, and then colors are optional. It could be natural language colors. It could be hex code colors. All right. So all right, that's fine. And then we want to, I want to bat it. I don't know if it's gonna rainbow. Line 3 rainbow not found. No, oh. It sure tried to do something, did it? Echo. Let's go back to echo. I guess you can only bat a file, or I would have needed, I'm still planning on storing it to a file. And our loading state isn't working. So that's no fun. It should just give me any color scheme. This implemented randomly for each color in the palette, convert some text. Why does it want to do this? Is it the constraint? I want to see what comes out of it. This echo can go away for sure. I was just verifying that it worked. Line 3 echo. Okay, why did that happen? Because I didn't define it, did I? I thought about changing it and then I didn't fix it. No such file or directory. What is happening? I thought I changed this already. I am losing my mind. All right. Now, what we did earlier in here is we did /alacrity, right? And then I said alacrity format. So maybe that's why. Yeah, no, I caught on. Why am I echoing things? Debugging. That was what I was doing. All right, so then that becomes that. Why is it auto formatting? Key. Space UF. I need to remember that. All right, so that'll mess things up for sure. So then what I want to know is on the transpiling step, the thing that hasn't happened yet, and the thing that is going to be tricky for me in figuring out, because it's not been clear in the examples here, is like, I want to just output the YAML in the YAML file format, please. Like, that's all I want to do. So that's going to be the hardest part about all this. So maybe I have to explicitly run the transpile function. So is it one of those things that, like, instead of what I called there, I'm going to call generate colors, alacrity color theme? This is the part of the tooling that I'm like, I don't know exactly what it's expecting. I also don't know how expensive these requests are. Yeah, so you look at this like generator now. So rainbow. And they just straight up can't do. All right, so this is the blocking point. I just don't know how we ask it to generate the code in that format we want. So once I have the thing I want, you don't like my color scheme? What do you mean? Yeah, I get it. Okay, let's try. So now we should be able to generate USA. And then America. All right, let's try. Let's try this. Currents. It's not current. I don't need current. I need theme.yaml. So let's edit config alacrity theme.yaml. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at that red, white, and blue. That white is horrible. My dogs are trying to get in. All right, so let's say alacrity American dark theme. Flashbang. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know it would do that. Look at that black is, there we go. All right. Look at that. Those are cool colors. These are different. I've never used these color combinations before. Let's try alacrity. Forest. Dark forest. I can never spell. Yeah, okay. Now this is what I think is really cool about large language models, is that you can get so creative in what you tell it. And so it chose to use a dark greenish color for the background, and then it matched these colors pretty equally. Now, I'm not super happy with the contrast. But I really want to be able to ask it for something. And so what will happen after this, which is kind of crazy, and we're going to see exactly where this goes with this, but I have become a big fan of Stable Diffusion. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with Midjourney or anything related, like Automatic 1111 or Comfy UI. So these are all these tools that I've been playing with on the side. And so I kind of want to be able to like auto-generate an image and then use the prompt of the image to have this tool generate a color scheme that fits the wording of the prompt, instead of just like giving it hex codes. I kind of didn't want to give it hex codes, and so in the whole idea here, this is a great idea, is that I want to like combine these creative ideas to have really cool output. Yeah, so I like this. So you're going to say, hey, foreground and background must meet compliance ratios. Yeah, that's super smart. That's a really obvious way of stating it. I like it. Why does this keep happening to me? So it clearly, state constraints. Alacrity colors, generate. I like it. I don't know if I want to do that. I kind of want to echo the instructions plus, can I just do string interpolation here? The dot notation. See, I'm dumb. I'm a JavaScript developer. Can you guys tell? All right, so we're going to do. Earlier, it was like, why are you using pluses? I don't understand why you're using pluses. I need to keep auto format off, and I need to leave this file open. So we're going to say Alacrity. Because what I can do is I can just copy and paste this, or give it a different argument, or use Gum to tell me, okay, which terminal emulator do you want to use? Oh, you want to do Alacrity? Great. What are the colors or descriptions that you want to do? Okay, great. I'll include that. And then boom, run the command and then show the output. So I've been doing this a lot. I've been using Gum a lot. It's just such a fun and cool little tool to make things easier. Load, spin. So you do need the double dashes. Okay. So that's what needs to be there in order for us to see that. And we'll probably need a space here. I don't know if it has to be here, but we might as well. Good catch. This guy's good. We're good there. It still doesn't want to load. Can't load that code for me. Spin. Why isn't it showing the spinner at all? Dash dash slash spin. Spin. Sleep. For 3. That's what I'm expecting to have happened. So Gum spin echo. Command pipe it in. This would be so fun if I can do this. All right. All right. What is this about? Did I give it generate? Is generate available? Alacrity colors. I think we decided that Alacrity is a valid command. Why does it do that? I don't want dots. Rain. Why is my interpreter not? Do I need to like? That must be why. Weird. Okay. So that's that. Now I don't really need to deal with that for now. Well, I still need to use the output later. All right, this is weird. In a string, how do I keep I have a markdown file. I want to keep the line breaks when saving to a dash variable. The line breaks, they claim the line breaks will be preserved. It clearly doesn't want to do what I'm asking it to do. So if this is, we might as well just have this one here and this one here. Alacrity. Come on. Alacrity. Run command. This spin doesn't work, so something tells me maybe that it's just straight up not useful. Got it. So WCAG 2.0 color contrast requirements, you will need to add additional logic to ensure that the foreground and background colors meet the required rate. Contrast ratio. Okay, so that might be a little bit too much for it. But there's some piece of this now that we're missing. It's not quite right. I think that this part is fine. So, rain. Okay, so here's the code block. I see it, it exists, it's there, I love it, but now I need the format. All right, so you're saying that I don't need the echo. Okay. Maybe this first part's redundant is what you're saying. All right. And maybe it's not something that gets interpolated. Oh, no, that's the wrong place. So you're saying I probably don't need to do this, which maybe you're right. And then this thing would definitely need to be concatenated. So then this whole idea of it being a prompt probably is the wrong format. Yeah, so you're right about it. Maybe we need to tell AI that it should only do one thing, but that's not the way this tool is supposed to work. This tool is supposed to be able to transpile things. So I think that we're just misusing it. I wonder if these guys. This is the Eric Elliott is the guy who made pseudoling, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that clearly earlier. So this, you're supposed to like tell it to do the thing. So this is Fibonacci. So here's a simple transpile. So we'd say transpile. right? So it's more a matter of, we don't define a slash command, because that's a very much a GPT related call and response type of thing. Instead, we want, so we can describe it. Here's the constraints. And then he says, writing and maintaining a test suite, paste the right way framework into the AI prompt. In the prompt, declare the function by adding right, generate, okay. Excuse me. List, generate tests, log. Okay, so this is the idea. We need to, we have our constraints. We have this thing. The list is the thing we need to call. So see how this function is called list? This should be called generate. We generate selecting the state and using the YAML format. So now, I think we're just going to do this. So this becomes, oh, and this colors. This feels better anyway. So we're going to generate with colors. Oh, come on. Why isn't this working? I'm trying to swap these out. All right. It's probably best that we do it like this. So this is what we're supposed to be doing. Let's find out if that works. And I'm just gonna put this guy here. So colors can be empty, it's fine. But I do need it to generate me output that is, see, here's the generated thing. Maybe I don't log it. Maybe I just generate it. Hey, okay, sweet. But this state is not what we want. Okay, let's make sure we remove those constraints. So this was a good idea. I may have to be a little bit more vague or a little bit more helpful in like, hey, whatever color you pick up for the background needs to be, it needs to be different. I need to not echo out the state. I need to echo out select state. This is where it gets a little tricky. It's like, how do we echo this out? So we have Fibonacci sequence. And when you run this, I think I need to, maybe like what you were saying, like only output the code. There may be some way we coerce that. So with Fibonacci, we did this, Fibonacci. Yeah. I don't want to copy and paste. All right, so then what's the trick here? Even if I had this one, I kept giving it different output and it was getting it right. Fibonacci program transpile Python. Only, maybe we make it a constraint. Only give me the code output. I like result. Colors, hey, that worked. Okay. Interesting that you have to say. I thought you didn't have to do this, but that we're in the right direction here. So when I have this value now, we're almost there, to be honest. We're just going to take the value and we're going to replace a file with new contents from a. We'll probably just echo it with the pipe, yeah. And then overwrite the file name. So if we use that, it will overwrite it. Yep. All right. So, and then when I do this, config, Alacrity, theme. All right. So that's that. I'm actually going to try. Maybe we just had to how to write a I don't know. We're going to find out if that new lines are going to be included. That'll be our first test, won't it? Let's just test it. So we'll just say rain. It updated with the new theme. Yeah, see, that's so lame. Why does it sometimes do it and sometimes doesn't? I don't understand. CO. Let's try again. All right, so these are colors. And it generated colors. Look at that. Well, that was the idea. Well, just so you know, the way that this is supposed to work is that you say format YAML. Oh, here, hold on. Colors? Maybe that's what it was like freaking out about. Yeah. We have to tell it that there's an argument that can be given. What is this def? All right, we're gonna do what you said. Maybe you're right. Yeah, so we're calling generate. See generate? Maybe I need to generate color, select, state, format, YAML. Maybe that needs to go in the command itself. I don't know. Let's give it muddy. What the heck? Only give me the result. Never explain the result. I may have to reach out to the guy that made this because he seems pretty responsive. Be like, why does this sometimes work and why does it sometimes? Oh, you think pseudoling uses generate? So we can rename it to something like create color palette. Create color. Like this. We're just going to give it. We'll find out, I guess. If you're saying maybe it's a slash command. Yeah, maybe. Let me try my way first. Let's just see like if it's consistent. Okay. Format YAML, select state. And then I guess the other piece of this is never use code blocks. Remove all. Maybe I should say like always output raw YAML format. Maybe that's better. Maybe rather than inverting. I feel like in general language models, especially Stable Diffusion, when I do stuff, like they don't want you to give you and like you don't want to tell it what not to do. So maybe that'll be better. Yeah, see, now it's just going back again. Always I'll put only the raw YAML. Never explain the answer. We can try the other generate that you were saying. What the heck? What have people asked about? I think I was looking at this earlier. Pseudo compilation? Maybe we need to make this into a function rather than the strut thing that we're doing. Maybe this needs to be different. Because once we figure this out, I can probably apply this idea to all sorts of cool projects, right? Like I have already ideas for all the React code I write. It's like, well, just generate a React component for me, please, given these parameters. But I would always want, with my scripting, to always output only the code. I don't want to copy and paste something. That's the whole point of this. So how do we do it? We're clearly doing something wrong. Constraints, fine, can be written as this. Constraints are optional. Here. Wrap with code block. See, all of this stuff, I don't want to wrap with code block. List events. Maybe I'll just say log format YAML. Did I already do that? So rather than what's here, can you guys still see this? Hopefully it's still visible. The function itself probably doesn't need to be defined. So maybe it's more like a run. What were the arguments? This one doesn't have arguments. Yeah, that's what you're thinking, huh? So this is like the last section. See log foobar. So maybe it's like log select state. Maybe we don't select state. Maybe we just follow what this guy was doing. Log format YAML. Format YAML. So this is the actual transpilation. Fine, list events. So this list and events run minimum salary. All right, so we're gonna call this here. Run so we're going to run color palette generator. Where were those constraints they mentioned? Constraints. How do I actually give it? Well, here's the log. So we can log foobar. But log is there. I think log is their function where you can just say log thing. Okay, so you don't have to give it a function. You don't have to define the function. All right. So then we will run color palette generator colors. I still don't know why gum spinner. I don't know why this is not working. Hey, so that's state. And so what we want is always output for Alacrity color scheme in the Alacrity color scheme format in YAML. Maybe that's enough. Or maybe I do have to create pass state the way that we were passing it earlier. So that was state. Maybe not. Maybe it just knows. Let's try sunshine. Spinner expected argument. Oh, spin. Ha! So this is like one of those things where it hallucinates because it doesn't like the output at all. It hallucinates when it doesn't have any value. So if you ever go to ChatGPT and you just hit enter, it's going to be like really weird and give you a strange output. Command. Generate color palette. It's so close, man. Yeah, probably. We could probably like a sub command, right? Or something like that. I mean, that's how I've done it. I mean, I did it here. Spinner, you echo out the context on this thing and it works. I mean, I could show you that feature. So I'm not sure why it's not playing nice. Maybe it's the format output we saw wrap with code block. Maybe we don't want to wrap with code block. Oh, I mean, that's a good output. I don't know. Let's see. I feel like we're so close. Yeah, Gumspin just like will echo out what it resolves to. Wraps with example output lies. It doesn't output that. It outputs the specific language. All right. These guys run Fibonacci and then log. Transpile. Maybe we need the transpile. So, like, program. I don't know, man. We're so close. Do I have to go back to this and be like, I'm gonna have to reach out. That'll be something for me to follow up with. Yeah, transpile instead of log. I know. Transpile. All right, maybe that's it. Maybe transpile is the word for make it into code. And maybe log is give me logs based off of the thing. Yeah, see, it still does that. It's still transpiling. Oh, wrap with code block. Let's get rid of that now. Transpile YAML. So we're gonna purple. I bet transpile is it. Yeah. So everything's right except that piece of it. Am I even going to get purple? Nah, I'm not going to get purple. Only purples. Only purple. I mean, if I can consistently get the code block, then I can just trim the fat myself, I guess. It's kind of a pain in the butt, though. It doesn't want to play nice with the purples. I don't know if it's taking in the arguments. Oh, only purple. I forget that I have to wrap it in quotes. All right, so that'll help. We're just going to go ahead and put these all next to each other so I can get around faster. Let's see, how much do they transpile? Where do they talk about it? Try transpiling this program to JavaScript and running it in your browser. Yeah, we talked about that. So they can call transpile. Help transpile constraints. I think we're on the right track with the transpile. So now, do we just do this? This is what we were talking about. And transpile can take the argument. Sure. Okay. Let's see. I feel like this is like right on the cusp of what we want. Transpile description colors. So now, wait, hold on. In here, they just do a transpile function. And it transpiles ducks because ducks is the name to do ducks. All right. We're just going to call this color palette. Color palette, YAML, transpile colors. And now we just want to transpile colors. Yeah. So this is in, it's not a function. This is like a interface with constraints. And I don't know if this is giving us any problems. I'll just say it like that. I'm not sure. See, it still gives me the code block. The colors aren't even reflecting what I'm passing it either. we previously were getting the colors, they were being affected, but now they're not being affected. Generate color palette only. Transpile colors. Colors. Now I'm just guessing. And I may need to like sleep on this and like come back the next day and like, yeah, maybe. That's what I was wondering. I don't know if we need all of these things in this format. The fact that I'm giving it Markdown might be why it's trying to substitute it. Yeah, so see, the color palette's bad. That's the wrong format. So perhaps I move this here is my thought. This becomes a code block constraint inside the code. And this is the part where I was a little bit confused because they don't explain how I can set up specific constraints. So maybe this is the constraint. I think we're on to something though. I bet that Markdown code block was the reason it was thinking it was Markdown. I kind of want to keep this Markdown instruction. I was told that that's valid. Yeah, see, now it's just being crazy. Maybe this goes above. There's definitely something going on here where it's like not sure what to do with the information I'm giving it. So I'm going to do some more research, and I bet we could do more of this next stream. I'm curious. Some of you guys are here a lot. Some of you are being really quiet. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see next. All right, so that's definitely a mess. Now, the Fibonacci didn't have output, but welcome. Friendly variation, that's something else to do. Yeah. Why does this keep not loading the file? I don't understand GitHub. I feel like they wrote this originally. They wrote this for like you to interact with. So yeah, I'm less worried about the end result of what kind of code I output. I'm really mostly worried about, I just want it to output only code. And that's the piece of it I can't get. But I need the Alacrity definition in order for it to understand the structure, because it implies the structure based off of the example I gave it. Pseudolang is declarative, constraint-based, structured templates and queries. Using predefined types and interfaces can reduce the probability of malformed responses. Right, when you receive data, that's fine. So, output. Interesting. What if we use a file name? Yeah, what if? I mean, it's a good question. I think I'm going to end here in the next half hour. So let's just keep playing with this, and I'll probably spend a lot more time on this. But where would we put that file? Transpile. Output.yaml. Is it going to go, oh, you want a .yaml file, so I must give you the output? I still think that we might be able to. Yeah, see, it doesn't care. Oh, and I might have an extra code block up here. Nope. YAML. Here's an example. Part of me really wants to just remove the bottom and top of this. I'll put logged results. Run prompt log. So if I don't want log, if I want direct output, I bet the articles that were listed might be just medium and medium. All right. State constraints. So that's the ChatGPT game. So it's always going to return You're tired of Medium articles? Yeah, fair enough. So Andrew was here last week. His articles are on Medium. So like there are lots of people in tech that use it. I just hate that how much it's like paywalled now. Learn vocab flashcards. Let me explain. Functions, requirements, constraints. We get all this. Implicits. So they say, well, as you do chain functions together. Yeah, so that's what it's just chaining. That's what we're seeing there. Maybe log format. Maybe I need to use this specific. So this was transpile log format YAML. Can I like make it not wrap with code block? That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. This became a pseudo-lang stream, didn't it, chat? That's what we've ended up doing all day. All right. Yeah, see, we still get the... We still get it. Let's see, I want like green. I mean, remove code blocks. I don't know either. Okay. There's this Alacrity theme, Alacrity theme. All right, so now let's try. Now I'm wondering if my arguments aren't working. So now it's like one thing goes away and the other, and a new thing comes back. Colors, colors, colors. Influenced by the input. Yeah, maybe just stating remove code blocks is enough. Nope. There's all the yellow. But look at how crazy these colors are. They're not even that useful. We can say shades of purple. That didn't even do anything. Yeah, so now I got to figure out how, in passing this argument, it plays with the output. I don't understand. All right, now it's just being silly. So clearly as I try to do something in one area, I'm introducing a different problem in the next. So there's something about input that we were doing earlier. Thankfully, this is a recorded stream, so I could always watch this tomorrow or hit the undo button as many times as I feel like I want to try to make sense of when arguments are working. I guess I don't know to reach for functions versus this generator thing versus we were doing this. Do you always do this? Is this the right way to go? If you do this, how do you pass in an argument? Because we've done arguments in the past and those were working, but then when we changed things in other places, it stopped working. Now, when I saw transpile YAML, I thought that's all you needed. I didn't think that you needed to log the format. And so there's all these little pieces that are just not really making sense and aren't clear. And so I will probably be doing some work here to help the guy that made pseudo-lang, and for those that want to do something like this. Otherwise, we just copy, right? We just say, oh, hey, we just go to this file and we get rid of this. And there, now we've got some cool new colors. Are these any different than the ones I listed in the example? I'm not sure. And so that's the part where I have to do, there's a big gap here. I'm not understanding, and I'm a bit tired. I had a full work day and we've been streaming for almost 3 hours. So this is really interesting. I think that there's an end in sight for sure. And the idea will be that I can ask it to give me anything color related, and it will do its best to get creative and generate a cool set of colors that all fit within Alacrity's color schemes: background, foreground, normal colors, bright colors. And so I want all this to be set, which I'm sure that might have thrown it off. And maybe these code comments aren't necessary. I don't know. There's a lot here, and my brain kind of hurts because pseudo-lang is like this super abstract, undefined thing. So this was really fun. This was super fun, chat. Oh, my iPhone is all done, so I'm here. This was fun. I had a good time. I think that we're onto something here. Unfortunately, I can't always start and end a project completely in this time frame. And for those that were around last week, the Smart Go-To tool is, alive and well, and a couple people have started using it, which is kind of cool to see. My Smart Go-To. So let's just go here. And so, I mean, it's out there. There's definitely more work to be done, which is also definitely the case in today's project. This is really fun. I have a YouTube video coming out here really soon. Look for it, hopefully by the end of this week. If not, it'll be like Monday. I teased it a little bit in a recent YouTube post, so go look for that and give it a heart or a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I, of course, plan to be here next week. So thanks a lot, guys, and have a good night.